Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So in today's video I wanted to do a really fun major throwback video. I basically wanted to do an entire full face of makeup with products that I featured during my very first year here on YouTube. And believe it or not, but most brands, like I would say 60% of the brands that I featured during my start here on YouTube are no longer. They have gone out of business. So I tried to use brands for today's video that still exist. Now, some of them are doing pretty well, and others, I feel like not a lot of people are talking about them anymore. So it's going to be like a nice mix of products that you may know, and maybe some other products that you've never heard of. So if I can, I will be listing and linking all of the products in my description box below. So thank you so much if you are shopping through my links. That means a lot to me. And also while you're down there, please do let me know, were you with me in the beginning? Have you been watching my videos from the start? I would be really curious to know, to see if any of my audience is still sticking around until this day. In any case, thank you so much for being here. You can also leave me a comment about something else. Let me know if you have tried out any of these brands, or if these brands, you know, are new to you. I would be really curious to know. And if you do end up enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a like, hit the subscribe button in case you are new on here, and also don't forget to ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming uploads. I've got some really exciting brands featured in today's video. I've got 100% Pure, KOSAS, ILIA, I've got ERE PEREZ, LOLO, KJAER WEIS, even GRESSA. I mean, there's going to be so many brands that are giving me major flashbacks. And yeah, I would say without no further ado, let's just walk down memory lane and let's kick it off with the very first product. Alright, you guys, so usually I would start off with a primer. However, there was not one primer that I loved so much that I wanted to repurchase it solely for the sake of this video. So I just decided to not go ahead and purchase a primer that was featured in the beginning of my channel. So really the primer is just the only section where I don't have a product that was featured in the very first year of my channel. But that is also due to the fact that primers have come such a long way. And also I feel like these days I kind of know what I'm looking for in a primer. And I do have primers that I love by brands that were actually featured in the beginning, but these products were released much later. So for example, I really do like the Jane Iredale Smooth Affair Mattifying Primer, but this did not exist back when I started my channel. So also I did not want to use this primer today, just due to the fact that the foundation I'm going to be using is silicone free. And I actually used the foundation once with this primer, and I felt like both of these did not get along very well. So I have already went ahead and I used the REM Beauty Blurring Primer today, just due to the fact that this is completely silicone free. It's not my all-time favorite primer in the world, but it's okay. Now, the foundation that I chose for today's video is a foundation that I have not used in so long. Actually, I did declutter the foundation, so I did repurchase this one again because it obviously had expired. But I was just so curious to use it again on my channel and to actually, you know, put it on the test. So this is the 100% pure fruit pigmented water foundation. Another reason why I wanted to pick up this foundation again and retry it is due to the fact that 100% pure was kind of booming back then. You know, I have reviewed their products quite a lot on my channel and quite frequently. I made an entire video reviewing all of their foundations, and it's until this day one of my most viewed videos on my channel, and this was the winner out of that video. So I thought this was the best foundation that they had. I'm not saying it's a good foundation. I just felt like it was the best out of their range, because I think I reviewed 4 of their foundation that they had, and this was the one that I liked the most. This does come in 19 shades. It's not the best shade range in the world. However, I feel like it's okay. Considering that there are only 19 shades, I feel like it's well balanced. Now, I used to have a different shade, but I did pick this one up now in Cool 2.0. So I'm gonna give this a good shake, and Let's just take a pump out of it. So yeah, this is quite a runny foundation. Now I do like the undertone of this. Let's just apply a little bit. You know what? I'm going to use a brush first, and then I might use a sponge to, let's see how it goes with the brush, because I honestly can't really remember if I do prefer a brush or a sponge. But yeah, this undertone is pretty spot on. So I still feel like this is quite radiant, quite luminous. It's not going to dry down on its own. It definitely does give me medium coverage. I mean, I can still see my skin poking through underneath it. Yeah, I'm so undecided about this product. I mean, it's kind of fun retrying a product like this. I'm just going to apply it to the other side as well. I just remember that when I retried this foundation, that it did not wear that well. And that is also due to the fact, I mean, it does not have any silicones. It does not really have a proper dry down, but it also could have been the dimethicone-based primer. It could have been that it was like slipping and sliding around a little bit more. But yeah, I feel like the finish of this, it's not my favorite one. Now this is with one layer of the product, and I feel like it looks quite heavy on my skin. And it looks almost like texture enhancing. I mean, granted, there are no silicones. There is nothing that blurs my pores with this foundation. And it's very hard because I know you guys might not be able to see this on camera, but it just looks a little bit heavy. So I'm just taking the sponge a little bit. Maybe that's just gonna help to get rid of that makeup-y texture, because that's really what I'm experiencing right now. Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely not the worst foundation I've ever tried. I gotta give it that, but it's also not the best. For an organic, natural product, it's definitely not bad, but I do feel like it's completely overpriced. And also something that I do want you to keep in mind is the fact that this is only good for 6 months after opening it up. This will expire in no time because this does not really have a lot of preservative, if any. And that is problematic. I don't think this is a foundation that I would necessarily recommend in 2024. I just feel like it just sits so weird on the skin. I mean, around here, around my nostrils, it just looks a little bit heavy. It just kind of accentuates the skin's texture in not so much of a flattering way. But then on the other side, I really feel like it has potential, you know. It's not that bad. I don't want to like trash talk this foundation whatsoever. Don't get me wrong here. So I can see how I thought that this was a good foundation back in the day. It was never my all-time favorite foundation. I was just really curious to try it again. So I was really intrigued by this. I love the undertone. I think the undertone is amazing. It's really good. It matches me. I mean, another thing that I don't appreciate 100% is the fact that it will sit on your skin. It's not gonna dry down. But I feel like maybe I can save this one with a little bit of concealer and with some setting powder. So let's actually move on to the concealer. I really feel like this concealer is still relevant these days. And this brand is kind of doing well. I'm not sure about 100% pure. I'm not sure if they are doing that well. I have no idea. So this is the KOSAS Revealer Concealer. Now I did purchase a new shade in this because recently, only recently, they have expanded their shade range again. Now they came out with pink undertones. So I did pick up the shade 2.6C. I did actually do an entire review on this concealer when it was released, and I used this concealer as a foundation. These days, I don't think I would ever do that again. I would not put this all over my face necessarily. Is this my favorite concealer of all time? No. But I think it's a good one. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's nice and creamy and hydrating if you have drier under eyes. this could work out for you. But I feel like if you have a lot of fine lines underneath your eyes, this could potentially crease, because this is, I mean, most of concealers are not crease free, but this one is definitely not crease free. So yeah, that might be a little bit of a drawback. When they released the pink shade, I immediately jumped on it. I thought, you know what, this is such a classic, you know, concealer by KOSAS. Might be even one of their best-selling products until this day, I don't know. But we're going to be applying it, and I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are on this. Now look at this undertone though. Compared to the cool undertone in the foundation, I feel like they have done such a better job. Like, I don't know what's wrong with KOSAS. Like, they can't seem to make a proper undertone with their concealers. Whenever I use this, I don't think this is pink. I feel like it's a little bit more pink, but on your skin, it does not really look that pink. It is very, very creamy, this concealer. I'm just going to apply it a little bit on here, and I do have to let this sit for a while, like for 1 to 2 minutes. This has to warm up to my skin slightly, but I'm going to apply it a little bit on my nose because I feel like the coverage has kind of disappeared. All right, so this has been sitting on my skin now for about 2 minutes. So I'm going to take my sponge and just blend it out. I mean, I like the formula, but again, is this that pink? I would say it is more of a neutral shade, like more, maybe even beigey, but it's not a pink undertone. But I like the coverage. I feel like the coverage is more like medium, but it's a very, very creamy texture. Very creamy, but it works, you know. So I'm going to be proceeding to actually put something on my eyelids, like an eye primer. I don't really have any eye primer from back in the day that is still available that, you know, I can use today. But I'm going to use my Sigma eyeshadow base primer in the shade Persuade. I'm just going to put a little bit on my eyelids, blend it out with my finger, and then we are going to be moving on to the setting powder. Now I actually went through my drawer where I do store all of my setting powders. I did not purchase a brand new setting powder. I still feel like they are fine. They have not gone bad on me, and I did actually pull out 2. I pulled one out specifically for my under eye and the other one for my face. So let's actually use the one for my under eye first. The ILIA Soft Focus Finishing Powder. This was the powder that I would use religiously for underneath my eyes. ILIA is one of the other brands that I was featuring in the beginning of my channel, and they have survived the test of time. They are still relevant today. I mean, they recently only released like a stick foundation. I'm not gonna pick up a stick foundation, okay? I'm not interested in that. I wasn't the luckiest with their foundation products, to be honest. I have decluttered, I think, all of them. They have not worked out for me that well. But this powder, I really did like it. I will say though, this is scented. This has some rosemary leaf extract or something. It just really smells like rosemary, which I don't really love that much. I'm gonna pick it up on my powder puff and just go underneath my eyes right here with this. Now, it's been a while that I actually used this for underneath my eyes. But every time I use it, I feel like it's so blurring. It's very, very pretty. All over my face, I just felt like it was a little bit too much. It really also just depends on the foundation. So I'm going to do this on the other side as well. For the rest of my face, I wanted to go in with a powder that I used to love, love, love. And honestly, I did use this quite a lot. Definitely need something that mattifies, and I need something strong. And I always felt like this was one of my favorite mattifying powders back then. So this is by LOLO, and it's the Seal the Deal Loose Setting Powder. I have made, I think, maybe even four full faces of LOLO, or 3. I can't remember properly, but there are a lot of products. I feel like I've tried everything that LOLO ever came out with. This is their translucent version of this powder. I think they also have a brightening one. I'm just going to use it and see if I still love it. Now they actually came out with a pressed powder. I don't like that powder. This is such a beautifully finely milled powder. I really, really like it. I've always liked this powder, and there was a time where I only used this powder for every day. Like I would use this non-stop. I really, 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 really loved it. I feel like it's just so smooth. It's just such a smoothing powder, and this is talc-free. So for this to be talc-free, I think this is one of the best talc-free powders I've ever tried. So I'm going to be proceeding with doing my eyebrows. So I'm going to be using this combination. I'm going to do it off camera, and I'll be right back with a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter. All right, so my brows are filled in, so let's move on to the bronzer that I chose for today's video. So this is the Rice Powder Bronzer, and this is by ERE PEREZ. I actually had this bronzer in the shade Tulum, and this is still available, but they have changed the packaging ever since. But I actually went ahead and I did purchase, I don't know when that was, a while ago, I actually did purchase the colorway Roma. Because look, Roma is so much better for my skin tone than this. This is quite warm and orangey, and honestly, I don't really like an orange bronzer. This is a little bit more, especially this shade, you can tell that I used this half of the bronzer the most. This definitely has a little bit more of a rosy leaning pink undertone, a little bit more flattering for my skin tone. ERE PEREZ is definitely a brand that I kept on using throughout the years. And I'm going to be using this shade right here, the one that I tend to use the most. I just feel like it's a little bit more cool toned than this one. I always kind of liked this bronzer, especially in this shade, like Roma, this colorway. I really like it. It's really, really lovely. So let's bronze up my face. I really like it. It is more on the rosier side. I mean, this is still a warm toned bronzer. Don't be fooled thinking that this is more of a contoury shade. I really feel like, at least on my skin tone, it pulls not excessively orange or any of that, but still warm enough for it to be a proper bronzer. It's so easy to blend. It's not over the top pigmented. You can definitely build it up. So let's actually move on to the blush. So this is by LOLO, and this is the pressed blush. Do you guys still remember LOLO? I feel like I'm doing a major throwback with this brand. I've not really talked about LOLO for a hot minute there. But I did pick up this blush last year, and I was so surprised that LOLO actually still exists. And I don't try to be mean or anything, but we have seen so many brands getting discontinued. And I'm actually really, really happy for LOLO to still be around, because I feel like they are actually making some really nice powder products for a smaller price point. And this is the shade Coming Up Roses. Ooh, when I saw that shade, I was like, I never had a LOLO blush. And you guys know why? Because in the beginning of my channel, I did not even use any blush. What was wrong with me? I don't know. No clue. I used to be that girl. I would throw on a bronzer and a highlighter. A lot of things have changed since then. I feel like I've got more blushes than highlighters and bronzers combined by now. So when I saw this shade by LOLO, I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a go. Let's just give it a try, because I never had a blush by them. I wanted to try it out, and I actually really do love it. It's a really nice formula. And the shade, ooh, this is like a beautiful mauvey, desaturated, muted kind of shade. I was always very tempted to pick up Tonylicious, but when I did pick this one up, Tonylicious was actually sold out. Otherwise, I would have tried that shade out too. But this Coming Up Roses shade it's so pretty. It's very, very stunning. So I'm going to apply it on this side first. And this is also a really nice buildable blush. I don't feel like that this is too pigmented straight off the bat. I feel like this is buildable, and it looks so pretty. This is almost like a blush that is also a little bit diffusing on the skin. I really like it. Now, I don't understand why I never use blush, because blush just changes everything. Just makes your complexion like complete. And you guys know I could go ham with a good buildable blush. This is definitely buildable. And the formula of their powder products, ooh, I've always loved them. I've not tried out their cream products too much. I mean, I tried out their cream foundation, and I did an entire full face on LOLO if you're actually interested in the brand. The only thing I never loved in their range were their eyeshadows. Their eyeshadows are not great. Really not. I really have been enjoying this so much. It's such a beautiful shade as well. Now for the highlighter, I almost chose the LOLO highlighter, okay? Because that is also one that I never really had, but I did pick this one up probably last year. It's the illuminator in the shade Rosé. I'm just going to show this to you because I'm not going to be using this today, but this is beaming. It is so beautiful. I honestly love this. It's deceiving because it's not going to look beaming in the pan, but when you put this on your skin, it is so stunning. Like, if you don't like something with glitter in it, this is without glitter and it's so light reflective. So I did want to mention this one, but because I wanted to kind of switch it up for this video and I did not really want to repeat a lot of the brands, I chose a different highlighter. And this is also a highlighter that I did not have in my full face of the brand. So many people told me to actually go for this highlighter. So this is by KJAER Organic and this is the Shine Up powder. Now I'm not 100% sure what shade this one is. It's looking like this. It's really like a skin tone almost. Let's just apply it because it's stunning. Again, it does not really look that beaming in the pan, but when it goes onto your skin, it's so nice. It's not going to enhance my texture too much and it's just going to give you wet glow. Look at that. It's so intense. I really think this is one of the prettiest highlighters that I have, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. Look at that. I mean, I'm beaming without being glittery, and I love it. I love it if a highlighter gives me that beautiful wet glow. I mean, this highlighter is probably the most underrated highlighter in the world. It is stunning. All right, so let's move on to the eyeshadows. And I went through my entire eyeshadow palette collection and I really had to look thoroughly through all of the palettes from back then because a lot of them are no longer in existence. And the one that I chose for today's video still exists, and until this day I think this was their best eyeshadow palette that they ever came out with, because lately I've been a little bit disappointed in this brand because I feel like they are just not really what they used to be. Their recent releases were total flops for me, so I thought, you know what, let's just use this palette though because I used to like it, you know, I want to play with it again. It looks rough. It looks very rough. So maybe I do have a nice pack shot for you guys where it still looks like brand new, because usually I do film my pack shots once the product arrives. So this is by Pacifica Beauty and it's the Animal Magic eyeshadow palette. Mine looks so rough, you guys. I don't like this packaging. This plasticky thing here, it's leaving the building. It is so flimsy, this packaging. I mean, I used to use Pacifica eyeshadows back at uni. However, this palette only came out later on. I mean, I was not at university anymore when this was released. For $24, this was amazing. I really loved it. And then afterwards, everything went downhill. Like their latest palettes that I picked up last year, no, it's not the same thing anymore. The color story, it's pretty warm toned neutral with some mauves, you know, a little bit of blue right there. So I'm gonna start off with this shade Stag. This is just a beige. Nothing too exciting. I mean, mine is still good. It does not look like there is any mold or any of that. It still looks fine. I have not used this in a hot minute though. Hopefully it's still performing. I used to love this for like everyday looks. This is such a light shade and it still shows up. It's such a good transition shade. I mean, I put it all over my crease now. So I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Horse, this one right here. Now the shade Horse is a little bit more of, it has a little bit more red in the brown. This is turning into a very pigmented sort of look. I have to use a little bit of this shade Swan right here, the lightest shade, like this more skin toned, like creamy shade right here, just to blend this out a little bit more, because this is more pigmented than I do remember. Like, this is still going strong after all of these years, my gosh. So I'm gonna be using the shade Eagle right here. So Eagle is a little bit more of a, let's just say, a very deep purple. I need a mirror that is closer to me. Let me actually get this Flawless palette and use the mirror in this. So I would say Eagle is a very deep mauve brown shade. It is very crumbly in the pan. This has not aged that well. I mean, this shade specifically, but it's giving off so much pigment still. I am so impressed by this. I'm gonna be using a Pacifica eyeliner in my waterline. I use their pastel shades so much. I use these constantly. You'll see them in a lot of different looks that I'm posting on my Shorts tab. I just love these. I'm gonna be doing a black eyeliner, and this is kind of brand new. This is not old at all. So I'm gonna put this in my waterline. It's been a minute since I've done a black waterline. Usually I go with a brown waterline, and I think this is also, if I'm not mistaken, their waterproof formula. And you know what? I kind of want to do something a little bit more fun for the lower lash line. I might go into the shade Butterfly. I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna deepen it up with Eagle. I'm just gonna clean up my edges, apply a little bit of glitter glue, although I don't know if I really need to with this formula, but I'm still gonna do that because I've just gotten into the habit of doing so. Alright, so I had a look at the palette and I had a look at the lip product that I'm about to use. And I think I'm just gonna go in with a couple of different shimmer shades today. I'm gonna start off with this. This is the shade Otter. This almost reminds me of this beautiful shade that is in the Lunar Beauty Moonshroom palette, Witching Hats, if I do remember correctly. It almost looks like that shade. But then afterwards I might go in with this Coyote shade. These all have different textures. Some of them are going to be more on the satin side, other ones, they are more sparkly. So as per usual, I'm gonna go in with my finger first and I'm gonna use a brush to blend this out. I don't want to use this all over my lids. I just really want to go onto the outer perimeter of the lid. Not necessarily my favorite satin formula ever. What did I do? I messed this up quite a lot, but does not matter because we're gonna be going over with something different anyway. So I'm gonna go in with Coyote. Let's just do it. And I think this might pull a little bit. Oof, this might pull a little bit too pink. But I can also go over with something else if this is not working the way I want it to. So let's do Coyote. Well, this has a little bit more reflect to it. I mean, this formula is a lot better than the satin formula. I will say though, I did not intend to put pink alongside with this plummy brown. I don't like pink and brown combined. I'm gonna take the shade Bunny and see what I can do here. Okay, I feel like the shade Bunny really kind of saved the look now. I still want to put a highlighter into my inner corner, and I always appreciated the fact that they put in the shade White Raven. That is such a stunning highlight. I just remember this to be such a good inner corner highlighter. So I'm gonna be putting that just right here. So yeah, I still feel like it's a cute palette, you know. I still have it. I did not get rid of this yet because I don't know. I just kind of like Pacifica, the Pacifica from back in the day, not Pacifica from these days that much. But I still like it. I think it's cute, it's fun, it works, okay? And the look turned out fine. So let's actually move on to the mascara. This is a mascara that I used to use quite a lot, and I did repurchase this twice. So this is the third time that I repurchased this, and this was also one of the very first mascaras that I featured on my channel. So this is by ILIA Beauty, and this is the Limitless Lash Mascara. I kind of like it. It is just something that you kind of have to get used to because of the brush. And let me actually show you the brush. So basically on the bottom you have a comb, and then on the top you have these very short silicone bristles. So really you should apply your mascara with this part of the wand and then use the brush part to comb through it and lift it up. In the beginning, I almost was stabbing my eyeball when I used this the very first time around. So now I know what I'm getting myself into. I'm going to curl my lashes first and then apply it on one side so you can see the difference. I feel like this has really lifted my lashes. I did 2 coats now just to build it up slightly, because I remember that you can definitely build this mascara up quite a bit and it looks beautiful. I really like it. So let me actually do the other side. This brush is actually really nice if you like a separating mascara. If you want something that really separates your lashes, this is really good. This is definitely not a volumizing mascara though. They do have one that is a volumizing mascara. I don't like it. That brush is massive. I also tested it somewhere on my channel. Back to this mascara. I think it is a really nice mascara. I don't think it's the best in the world. I don't think it's bad. I just can tell you that this is not smudging. It is not flaking off. It is not really a dry formula. And it's also not really that wet. Like, I did not really get any smudging now. I didn't feel like it was clumpy. So I think the formula is definitely great. And I did repurchase this product a couple of times. So there was a time where I really liked this mascara. And I can see why. All right, so my eyes are all done. So let's actually move on to the lips. So let's actually start off with a lip liner. Now, this is also a product that I recently repurchased. It's the exact same shade that I had in my original full face video of this brand. And this brand, I'm not sure what's going on with them. Like, I have not heard from them in a hot minute. I really hope they're doing okay. So this is by KJAER WEIS and it's their lip pencil in the shade Saturate. I did use that entire lip liner up. So I'm so happy to have it again. Let's actually line my lips. Now, Saturate is actually more of a warm sort of brown shade. It's really, really pretty. So I'm gonna apply it, and I like this formula a lot. It's not as creamy as my Flawless Beauty ones, but it's still on the creamier side. It is quite pigmented, it's quite creamy. It just glides on so well, and I think these lip liners are so underrated. Like, I never hear anyone talking about these anymore. Let's actually move on to the lip color product that I want to put on top here. And this is also by a brand that I feel like no one is talking about anymore. They even have gone offline completely. They have just completely deleted their Instagram account. Their official website is still running. And I recently repurchased this product in this particular shade because I was so obsessed with this that I emptied mine. So this is by GRESSA, and this is their lip boost in the shade Lilith. So this is their lip boost. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this jar. I'm gonna be honest. This little jar here, just wish it would come in a normal bullet, but this is the shade Lilith. It is so beautiful. Now that you see the shade Lilith, I feel like maybe you'll understand why I decided to go with this eye look. So I'm gonna be using this on my finger. I know you should not do that, but my fingers are clean. And I might just, you know, use a brush afterwards. Look at that shade. It's so pretty. It's like a rosy brown shade. It's just, oh, this formula is so nice. It's really hydrating on your lips. I really love this more like neutral rosy brown. And also this works so well with this lip liner. Like both of these products, amazing. I really truly adore them. Now I will say, looking at myself, having used all of these products, I think it looks good. The only thing I will mention though is I gotta like touch this chin up already. I mean, this foundation is not my favorite one in the world, but a little bit of this Lawless Seal the Deal powder is going to just save it again. I mean, if I would have not used that Lawless Seal the Deal powder, it probably would have started by now getting a little bit oilier. But today, I really feel like my look is good. I actually really love the outcome. But yeah, I would be really curious to know if you have tried out any of these brands. Have you heard of them? Do you have any more questions? Please do drop me a comment down below, because you guys know I'm always looking forward reading them. And if you did enjoy today's video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button in case you have not yet, and also ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And until next time, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.